Jack Smith is a massively manipulative clown. It's not going to work. It's going to totally backfire on him. We have a Washington Post article with a very interesting title. Welcome to Doug in Exile. We've been fighting Jack Smith from the beginning, and it makes us very happy. So, watch this. This is the article headline opinion. Jack Smith has dubious timing, but a good case. What they get wrong is that the timing is the case. The dubious timing is what's so suspect, which is Jack Smith interfering with elections. So it doesn't matter how good his case is. He never would have brought it if Trump didn't run for president, period. Let's get back to the article. There's a filing on January 6th prosecution against Donald Trump includes valuable new details. It's not. This is a joke, by the way. And October surprise, U.S. District Court Tanya Chutkan on Wednesday unsealed a filing from Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith on January 6th case against former President Donald Trump. The circumstances were unusual. The document argued that the January 6th case remained sound even after the Supreme Court ruling declared the presidents enjoy immunity for official acts. Though the 165-page brief is persuasive, Mr. Smith filed it within the 60-day quiet period. The Justice Department observes before an election. The brief did not respond to a motion from Mr. Trump to dismiss Mr. Smith's charges, as would be the usual prosecutorial procedure. Instead, it anticipated such objections. So look, just so you know what happens, usually there's a 60-day wipeout where they will not allow these things to happen. Jack Smith knew he could not bring this case before the election. So they dumped this document out, getting Chutkan's approval to allow it to go public. Now, lawyers almost never want their case, 145 pages of their case, going out to the public for the public to peruse and make an opinion on before they even get to go to trial. It's totally out of the ordinary. So the only reason why Jack Smith dumped this out on the American people is to influence the election. He's using this. He was frustrated that he's not able to manipulate the election with his court case. So he said, fine, I'll do a document dump. Well, the court said you can't release stuff. You have to redact it. You have to get approval on it. So he had to go and get it pre-approved by Chutkan to release to the public and make sure there wasn't any stuff in Trump's private diaries and stuff like that the public wasn't allowed to see. Okay, so this is all media manipulation, all voter interference. So it doesn't matter how strong the argument is inside the document. And does the Washington Post get that right? Well, we here in Exile do get it right because we know the game. We're giving you the wisdom of what's actually happening. Will anyone step back and take a big picture view of what Jack Smith is doing and tell you what's actually happening? That's all I'm looking for from mainstream media. That's all I'm looking for from mainstream, big-brained lawyers and journalists. Will any of you actually tell the American people what Jack Smith's doing, or are you going to leave it to this barely literate comic book artist to tell the truth that lawyers and scholars will not tell you? The curious timing is yet another reminder that little about this case has been typical. The charges, the defendant, the stakes for the country. Mr. Trump is unique among defendants in that he could soon have the power to end his own prosecution by winning the White House and ordering the Justice Department to terminate it. True, Judge Chutkan had asked both Mr. Smith and Mr. Trump to submit arguments about the case's future in light of the Supreme Court's ruling. Yet Mr. Smith's actions also ensured Americans have more case materials available to them shortly before they vote. A questionable call for a prosecutor to make, even considering the case's unusual character. They won't come out and say it. That's why I'm mad. Just say it. Hit him on the head with it. Just tell him what he's doing. He's trying to influence an election. This has nothing to do with a special prosecution. This has to do with a special election. You guys are frauds. Don't worry, Washington Post. Don't worry, lawyers. By the way, let's go up here and see who wrote this article. Who wrote this article? Oh, it's by the editorial board of the entire Washington Post. No one wanted to put their name behind this. They're such chicken S. They're so chicken. I'm sitting here. I'm Doug TenNapel. I'm a near fraud. I'm a comic book artist, and I'm doing more of the truth than the entire Washington Post editorial board won't even tell you the very basics, the basic facts of life. The Justice Department has forensic evidence backing up the stories of Mr. Trump sitting alone in the Oval Office, watching Fox News and scrolling through his Twitter on his phone, blah, blah, blah. We've all seen this J6 garbage the Washington Post is regurgitating here. It's not the interesting part of this article. We know every in and out of every accusation they're making against Trump. You don't have to speak anymore about J6 and all the accusations, what he said to Pence, what he said to whatever. He could say the most nightmare darkish things. We've heard the worst you got on him, and we're not buying it. He did not incite an insurrection. You didn't legally charge him with it because you can't. Not because he has immunity, but because you don't have any evidence. These powerful pieces, they weren't that powerful, guys, of evidence helped reveal Mr. Trump's intent. No, it didn't. Essential in closing the case. No, it didn't. It has nothing to do with the case. It's essential in manipulating the election. They don't care about the case. That's why they dumped these facts on you within 60 days of an election. Has nothing to do with the case, has to do with the election. The prosecutors don't explicitly allege that he was aware he lost the election. That's what they'd have to do to show intent. They have no evidence that he knew he lost the election and was lying and deceiving you. He believed he won the election, but their filing makes clear that he didn't care whether he was right. His goal was to create discord and doubt that he could use to keep himself in power, not to ensure the integrity of the vote. That's a matter of opinion, and they're wrong. The Washington Post is lying to you. This is Democrat agitprop. They have no way of knowing what was rolling around inside of Trump's head and what his intent was. Notice they did put this in quote. They need to tell you this is just an opinion. This is the opinion of a never Trump voter. They should state their bias, which they won't do because they want to pretend like they're neutral, which is so weird because when Trump denied the election results, he was trying to be neutral and fact-finding, but obviously he has a bias, exactly like the Washington Post. In short, the Washington Post editorial group of journalists, fake urinalists, did the exact same thing Trump did. And there's something in the Bible about going after the speck in your brother's eye and not paying attention to the plank in your own eye, you stupid hack, yellow journalist. I will show up and spank your behind, and I'm a barely literate comic book artist who makes animated series, and I can go in and do better legal stuff than you because you won't address it. You won't address the elephant in the room. This is not about politics this is not about the strength of a case. It is about politics. This is not about the strength of that case. This is about Jack Smith dumping this information out, in fact, because the case will not go to court in time. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen of the Washington Post and of my audience, this is not what law is for. This is not why you launch cases. This is not what a special prosecutor is for. This is not what the Department of Justice is for. No, it is not to influence an election. No, it is not to dump a 185-page document out on the people for them to read and decide, oh, is Trump dangerous? Maybe I shouldn't vote for him. That's not what the law is for. That may be what a court case going to court next year might be for. But it's not. If you can't, just because you can't make it before an election doesn't mean you suddenly dump all your documents out. Those documents are there to serve a lawsuit, and you're misappropriating them. It's exactly what the devil does. It's exactly what every liar does. It is about taking a square peg and trying to jam it into a circle. It is a misappropriation of facts. It's an abuse of our law system. It is abuse of our beautiful Constitution, of judges, of fairness, of jurisprudence, everything. And a bigger abuse of journalism for Washington Post to not call this out, and for me, a stupid YouTuber, to have to tell you, how dare you guys, you frauds. And I'm laughing at you. And now my audience is too. Thumbs up if you guys agree. Jack Smith is a complete criminal, and the Washington Post journalism people need to probably go and play a little more with their little children's paints in the art department. I'll take care of the journalism from here, guys. I've got this. I'm Doug in exile.